Hey you guys, it's Kyle from Markham Reptiles. And as you may know, here at Markham Reptiles, we get our snakes outside a whole bunch. Now, I get a lot of questions about getting our snakes outside, what that entails, things that people are worried about, and more. So I'm actually filling up this pool behind me over here. We're gonna let our 9-foot reticulated python, Eva, go swimming for a bit. We're gonna let her roam around a bit. And during that, we're gonna talk about what it entails to take your snake outside, what it's like, things that people are worried about and have asked me, and a bit more. You're not going to want to miss this one. All right, you guys. So here I've got a kid's pool basically, and it is full of course, non-chlorinated water. And I didn't fill it up too high because my guess is that Eva will just go right out of it here. But we'll see what happens. Who knows if she'll sit in it. Too much water may stress her out. So you can see how much I filled it right here. And yeah, let's go ahead and put her in it and see what she does here, you guys. All right, y'all. We've got Eva here. Go ahead and put her in. See what she does. She went underwater, which is something retics do in the wild. If they're trying to get away from a predator or something like that, they'll actually go straight to the bottom. And she's already actually been in the pool longer than I thought she would be, which is super cool. Obviously, the main thing when putting a snake in a pool is just make sure the water's not chlorinated. And they're actually great swimmers and they can hold their breath for a very long period of time. As you can see, she's not worried at all about going right under the water. So this is actually really cool to see what she's doing here. This girl is every bit of 9 feet and I think she might be starting to want to go out. She's just trying to figure out the boundaries of this area that she's in right here. But yeah, this is literally a pool that my kids play in. Obviously, I just rinsed it out, filled it up, and put her in it. So pretty simple thing here that I've done. And this is providing a lot of enrichment for her. A big 9-foot snake like this, you need to take it out. She needs enrichment. Reticulated pythons are actually a super smart species of snake. So you can't just leave these guys sit around in an enclosure all day and expect them to be happy. And unless you have a whole room to put them in, it's hard to build them a really rewarding enclosure with a lot of enrichment. So it's nice to take them outside a lot and give them some enrichment outside. And that's something I've found that's actually really important to do with reticulated pythons and really all your snakes in general. So it looks like Eva's fed up of the water here, or at least realizing that she can get out. She might not be fed up because she actually went back down, but she's realized that she can get out over the edge of that pool right there. And it's actually super cool just watching her swim here, you guys. She's a really good swimmer. And in the wild, these guys would spend a lot of time around water. They also can climb trees as well. She's getting to the point where she's a bit too big to let her climb trees anymore. And I actually have done it before. But yeah, I mean, these guys are absolutely beautiful snakes. And I can't provide a pool this big in her enclosure. You know what I mean? So it's really cool to let her come outside and get some enrichment time like that. An important thing to remember when you're taking your snake outside is the temperature. It's 84 degrees outside today. So it's really the perfect temperature to do this. I wouldn't want it much hotter than that. I know pythons can have hot spots, but they can also get away from those hot spots. And when you take them outside and it's 90+ degrees, they can't get away anywhere. I have this pool in the shade and it's 84 degrees. So it's actually really cool to see her out here exploring like this. And I really didn't think she would spend this much time inside the pool. So this is actually super cool as well. This is something that I'll have to do more often. Even though she's still in the pool, I'll go ahead and address this next topic, you guys, because this is a question I actually get a lot. And that is, aren't you worried about mites if you take your snake outside? And the answer, pretty simply put, is no, because I live in North America. And snake mites are not found in the wild in North America, you guys. Snake mites are coming in from other countries in the wild. So I don't know if you've ever gone herping in the United States, but you're not going to go herping in the United States and find snake mites on a wild snake, you guys. It is not something that happens here in North America, so it's not something you have to worry about when letting your snake outside. One thing that I actually do take into consideration that a lot of people forget about is birds of prey. Now, a girl like Eva, I'm not super worried about, but anything smaller than 6 feet, I'm not going to be setting it on the ground in my backyard because there's hawks and stuff like that around here. There could be eagles, but I don't really see any eagles around this area. In some parts of the country, you guys are going to be dealing with eagles and stuff like that, but that's not something that we have to worry about over here. So it's pretty much just hawks, and a girl like Eva, 9 feet or so, maybe a bit more at this point, is going to be safe from that type of predation. But here and there, you know, I'll put a 6 or so foot snake out, and I'll look up and I'll notice hawks and crows and stuff like that actually circling and checking out what I'm doing. So that's actually super interesting, you guys. So make sure you're standing close to your snakes when you do take them outside, and keeping an eye out on what else is watching you, because you know you wouldn't want any sort of unfortunate accident, and you just don't want them to get into stuff that you don't want them to be in either. That's another great reason to watch these guys, see what they're doing and stuff like that. So you always need to make sure that you're supervising what your snake is doing outside, and I think that's pretty intuitive and obvious, to be really honest. And there's not as many concerns outside as people think. Really, this is great enrichment for your snake. It's free, it's a big open area, you know what I mean? Especially if you have some space in your yard and stuff like that. It's a free way to give your snake some really cool enrichment. Another thing that you're actually going to want to consider as she goes out here and goes onto the grass is actually ticks, okay? So ticks obviously aren't going to be getting on your snake a whole bunch, but it is something that you want to check for every time that you're bringing your snake inside. You want to make sure that they're not getting any ticks, because ticks could of course drink their blood, and ticks do exist in North America. Now, I've never one time found a tick on my snake, so it's not something I worry about a whole bunch, but I do a quick check over every time they come out. Now, Eva's the only snake I have that does this right here, and I find this super interesting, how she moves her head in the grass like this. And I'm wondering if it's because she just has larger heat pits than my other snake, and the grass is going into her heat pits. And she's also the only albino I have, so I'm wondering if she's an albino and that has something to do with it. Maybe her eyesight or something like that is something that I've considered, and I'm not really sure. But I let her move around in the grass like this all the time, you guys. Obviously, I have a nice sized cage for her, but I don't have this kind of space to let her move around inside of her cage. So it's nice to let her stretch out and move around like this. And you know, I give her plenty of time as long as the temperature parameters are right and I have the time. This is some great free enrichment for her. It's good for her to move around, feel everything, feel the grass, feel the different textures, and move around and stuff like that. It is a very interesting thing she does with her head. I'm not entirely sure why she does that. It's possible she's trying to burrow a little bit, like she kind of did right now, and get buried under something. Not entirely sure. Let me know if you have any guesses as to why she does that in the comments. But yeah, it's super cool to let her do this. I let her move around like this all the time. And basically, you guys, there's not too much to be worried about when you're letting your pet snake outside. It's kind of like letting your dog outside. It's something that you should do. It's great for them mentally. I've noticed that it helps them a lot mentally to stay calm, stay relaxed, and to feel fulfilled, you know, and really feel like they're safe in their environment. They can get out and think. They don't have to be defensive. They don't have to be worried about anything. And they realize that they have a nice, nurturing environment. So it really does have an effect on their brain, which is really cool. And obviously, the bigger Eva gets, the more she's going to need this type of enrichment. So for reticulated pythons in general, this is actually a super important thing to do. If you're getting a snake that's going to get 15, 20 feet, stuff like that, you need to let them outside and move around like this, especially this intelligent of a species. They can't just sit there all day and be happy. Their mind gets to racing. I am familiar with this myself. My mind does the same thing. So I need to get out and get enrichment myself. And it's super important for these snakes to do the same thing, you guys. So there's not really too much to be worried about letting your snake outside. You know, if you have a dog, obviously don't let them slither through your dog's feces or anything like that. But all these things are intuitive. You know what I mean? This is not stuff I should really have to tell you. It's pretty much common sense. You know, so just don't let them get into places you don't want to. Keep an eye out for any animals that are outside, birds of prey or stuff like that. And most of the time, if you're standing right next to your animal, it's not going to matter too much anyways. Basically, do a quick check over for ticks. If you have an albino snake like Eva right here, I would see a tick if it was on her. It's pretty obvious. And I do a quick check over before I let her back inside. But you don't have to worry about snake mites in North America. It's not a thing. Snake mites are specific just to snakes, and they are not native to North America. So that is a huge myth that stops people from taking their snakes outside. And really, it's a shame because these guys really enjoy being out here. So let us know what you guys thought of this video in the comment section. And definitely go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Markham Reptiles. Follow us on Patreon. We have a wonderful community on Patreon where you can get some really cool behind the scenes looks at what we're doing here, at what we're breeding, and at what animals will be available as well. You guys get the first shot at animals that are available on Patreon. That link's in the description below. Check out our partner Reptichip. They're a premium producer of coconut chip. We have linked them in the description below. And I hope all you guys are having a wonderful day or night. Till the next video, take care.